Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss Act 4 Scene 1 of Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin. This scene takes place in a house in Rome, and in this scene we are going to see Antony and Octavius discussing about the ways in which they can fight with their enemies, including Antony's own nephew Publius. Lepidus is a minor character who is sent for a task of bringing the will of Julius Caesar. Meanwhile, Antony and Octavius express their hatred for Lepidus, considering him an unworthy fellow who can be easily manipulated. Antony compares Lepidus to a beast of burden, suggesting that he is just a tool or a furniture to be used and discarded of once his use is over. The conversation between Antony and Octavius reveals their determination to become strong opponents to confront their enemies Brutus and Cassius. There are three people present in the scene. We have Antony, Octavius and Lepidus. Antony begins by saying, "These many then shall die, their names are pricked, that is, so many then shall die. All the names of people have been ticked off." Octavius says, "Your brother too must die. Do you agree, Lepidus?" Lepidus says, "Yes, I agree." Octavius says, "Tick him off also then, Antony." Lepidus says, "But upon the condition that Publius also is not allowed to live, who is your nephew, Antony." Antony says that he shall also not live. "Look, with a stroke of the pen I condemn him." That is, he ticks off the name of Publius also. "But Lepidus, you go to Caesar's house, bring the will here, and we shall settle how to reduce some of the expenditure in legacies." So Lepidus asks that, "Okay, I'll go and get the will, but will I find you here when I come back?" Octavius says, "You'll either find us here or at the Capitol." After this, Lepidus exits. Antony says this is a slight, unmeritable man. That is, Lepidus is a feeble man. He does not deserve any merit. He is fit only to be used for running errands. That is, he can be given tasks, he can fulfill those. Otherwise, he is not a very useful man. Is it fit, the threefold world divided, he should stand one of the three to share it? That is it fitting now the world is to be divided between three rulers, that he should be one of the three rulers? Can he deserve to be a ruler? Octavius says, "So you thought him and took his voice, who should be pricked to die in our black sentence and proscription." That is, you thought this about him, and yet you took his vote as to be marked off to die in our blacklist of those who are sentenced. Antony says, "Octavius, I have seen more days than you. That is, I am older to you. And though we lay these honors on this man to ease ourselves of diverse lands' loads, he shall but bear them as the ass bears gold." That is, though we lay those responsibilities on this man to get rid of certain tasks which will create a lot of confusion otherwise, he is no better than a donkey who carries the gold. He keeps on groaning, complaining and sweating under the labor, not realizing that he is carrying gold on his back, and he keeps moving the donkey just as a donkey moves around with the load in whichever direction the master wishes. That is the way they can control Lepidus. Then he says, "When he has carried the load to the place that we select, then we take it from him and send him off." That is, once he has fulfilled the task, we are going to get rid of him like the ass deprived of everything. That is, just as when the donkey's task is over, the donkey is left to graze in the open land, so is the case that will happen with Lepidus. Octavius says, "You may do your will, but he's a tried and valiant soldier." So Octavius says that do whatever you want to, but in the past Lepidus has proved to be a brave and courageous soldier. Antony then says, "So is my horse Octavius, and for that I do appoint him store of provender." That is, he is proved to be a brave soldier, or I set aside for him a supply of food. My horse is a creature that I teach to fight, to turn, to stop, or to run directly on, the motions of his body being controlled by my spirit. And to some extent, Lepidus is also like my horse. He must be taught and trained and ordered to go out. He is a fellow who does not have true spirit. He is one who lives on rejected scraps, things left by other people, and he imitates or copies other people. Things no longer used and put aside by other men are then used by Lepidus. Do not talk of him except as a piece of furniture. He is no good than a piece of furniture. Now Octavius, hear great news. And what is the news he gives? Brutus and Cassius are raising armies. We must immediately collect all our resources so that we can form a firm alliance. Let us be friends and be a strong alliance in front of Brutus and Cassius as far as possible. And then he says that meanwhile we should immediately sit and decide on how to hide some things and what are the things that are exposed to danger which can be easily found out, and we need to hide those things so that we are able to be a strong enemy or an opponent to Brutus and Cassius's army. Octavius says, let us do so, for we are at the stake and bayed about with many enemies, and some that smile have in their hearts, I fear, millions of mischief. That is, let us go forward and do whatever we are supposed to do so that we can save ourselves and also fight against a ring of dogs or enemies, because some of these people who are smiling, I have a fear that they are putting on a mask of smiling on the face, but in their secret hearts they have capacity for doing great mischief. So we need to be prepared. After this they exit. The key takeaways of this scene are: first is manipulation and betrayal. We see Antony and Octavius manipulating another character called Lepidus, and they view him as a person who can be easily discarded once his use is over. This reflects on the theme of manipulation throughout the play. Next is ambition and power. We see Antony and Octavius driven by their ambition to get power to defeat their enemies. They disregard Lepidus and they want to become strong opponents for Brutus and Cassius. We also see Antony and Octavius discussing a military strategy so that they can confront the enemies. The scene finally reveals the ruthless nature of politics, where individuals are treated as instruments to be discarded of once they have served their purpose. So overall, Act 4, Scene 1 provides insight into the motivation of the characters, the complexity of politics, and how the system works. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.